This is Believe in Georgia Dawgs podcast on the Believe Podcast Network.
Doesn't it? Or did.
Wilcox with an up and out. Wide open. Touchdown. Israel Troupe.
Snap to Young. Drops back. Pressure from the edges. He throws near sideline. And it's intercepted. Intercepted. Keely Ringo at the 21. Off he goes. 40, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30. Near sideline. Breaks the tackle. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. 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 Georgia.
Good evening, neighborhood. How about them dogs?
32, 18. Let the celebration begin.
What's up? What's up? What's up? It is the Believe in Georgia Dawgs podcast on the Believe Network. Also coming at you on Brinks.tv. On the video side, Corey Burton. Joining me, as always, is my main man, Israel Troupe. What's up, Israel?
What up?
How's it going? How's the weather down there?
Hey, man, it's nice. We had a little bit of bad weather earlier this morning. The sun came out, had a couple of tornadoes hit in surrounding counties, but, you know, we made it out.
The Benny made it out. That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
we made it out.
We passed that on down to you guys, so we had all that stuff last night. We just got in SEC After Dogs. Or SEC After Dark, I should say. So, yeah.
I know it's rough. You know, you're starting to like intertwine all of our podcasts here.
I know. SEC After Dogs.
Yeah,
the beast of the SEC After Dogs.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's definitely in good shape. I guess if I'm doing this many podcasts and I get them confused, if it took until now, I'm doing okay. But
yeah, man, you're doing something right.
That's right. Well, you can follow us on social media. You know where to find us. I've got a new Twitter. I've got a new, not a Twitter handle, but a new Instagram handle at Coach Corey Burton on Instagram. Follow that one. Give that one a look. See, I'm going to start posting a lot of my football and podcast content there. All of my cooking content and my child and family stuff is going to be on burton.corey if you want to see that. But at Coach Corey Burton on Instagram is where I'll try to post a lot of my football and Instagram stuff. So follow that. We are also brought to you by betonline.ag. It's finally here, guys. So we're going to talk about it in here in just a minute. The Final Four set. If you're looking to wager on these games, I think I might give it a shot. Or the national championship, or both. Head on over to betonline.ag on your desktop or your mobile device to sign up today and receive that 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BELIEVE to get started. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all updated odds and info, along with player props and new contests throughout the year. It's the best source for all your sporting wagering needs, including live betting and everyone's favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super, super easy to get started, so join today. Learn why everybody is saying BetOnline is the fastest, easiest way to wager on sports. BetOnline, it's where the game starts. Israel, Final Four set. What's your brackets looking like? Are you in good shape here?
I need Kansas to make it to the championship and win for me to have a shot. I think it's the most excitement the Final Four's had in a long time, especially with Duke and North Carolina playing each other. Actually, the Villanova-Kansas game is going to be really good as well. So this is going to be a great matchup with four great teams. You know, the four teams that, you know, I'm pretty sure maybe 50 people in the whole United States maybe had going to the championship or the Final Four. So I think it's going to be a good one. They play Saturday, don't they?
Yes, they do. Saturday night. No, they play Saturday night. It is Villanova, Kansas is up first. They're the 6 Eastern game. Kansas is favored by 4. The money line is minus 190 on them. The over-under is 133 on that. Duke, North Carolina is the nightcap. It's the 8:49 p.m. Eastern tip. That's such a random time. But Duke is also 4-point favorites. The over/under is 150.5, 151.5. Excuse me. And so those are your games there. And then of course you could take any parlays. They've got the game's odds for Monday. They got all 4 possibilities. So they got Villanova, Carolina, which Villanova would be favored by a point over Carolina. Duke would be favored by 3.5 over Villanova. Kansas would be favored over North Carolina by 3.5, and Kansas would be the underdog to Duke by 1.5 if those were the scenarios. That's according to BetOnline.
I don't think that Duke is going to let North Carolina beat them twice, especially what happened at Cameron Indoor a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, North Carolina, I mean, they're offensively, they're just blowing people out the water.
Yeah.
Kansas kind of struggles a little bit, but if they struggle against Villanova, they're going to get their eyes beat in. So
they will.
I got Kansas, and I'm a North Carolina fan. So I got Kansas and North Carolina. But Duke, I think Duke's going to give them a run for their money. I honestly don't think they're going to let Carolina beat them twice. But if Carolina comes out and shoots the way they've been doing, it's going to be a long night for Duke.
Well, we know who Vinny wants.
They can't fall behind.
We know who Vinny wants. Vinny's in your boat. I'm also in your boat. I like North Carolina. I like the way they're playing right now. Bacon, there's nobody that can stop Bacon and R.J. Davis right now. R.J. Davis is a freaking walk. They're both walking double doubles. Duke is pretty hot right now. They're playing some really good basketball. So they might be the hottest team in the tournament. So that's going to provide a little bit of a challenge for the Tar Heels. But again, the Tar Heels show tremendous resiliency. They blew a lead and regained it against Baylor. They destroyed St. Peter's, which, I mean, they should, but given the way St. Peter's is playing, no one would have been surprised if that was a ball game. But so I like Carolina too, and I usually favor Carolina in this rivalry myself. Although in high school we kind of modeled ourselves as a student section after the Cameron Crazies, but that's about as far as I went with Duke. But Villanova, I like Villanova over Kansas. I just think they're a grittier team. I just think they're a team that's going to take advantage of they wait on you to make mistakes. They don't beat themselves, and they pounce when you do. If you make a mistake, they'll go on a 10-2 run, and this game will get out of hand quickly. So Kansas has to start. Kansas has been a slow starting team all tournament long, really all season long. They got smoked by Alabama earlier in the season, and they started slow in that game. They started slow at every game, and they started. I forget who they played in the first round, but they get off to these slow starts, and they have to regroup after halftime and come back and win. They had to do that in the Elite Eight against Miami. They're not going to be able to do that against Villanova. Villanova will jump on them. They will pounce. So.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Kansas can't come out and be slow and lethargic when they come out. This isn't a team, like you said, you can't get behind. They're going to beat your eyes in, and make you like it. That's the bad part about it. They're going to make you like it. And they're beating you. So,
yes.
What better way to go out than beat Kansas, who's the number one predicted national champion anyway? What better way to do it than to knock them out? So, Villanova's going to come in. They're physical basketball team, so I mean, I'm going to enjoy every minute of it. So now, who wins the Villanova Carolina national championship?
Ooh. Does Carolina get revenge over the last time they met in the national championship?
I think they will. Like you said, I think the way that Carolina's shooting, if they can stay hot, they can beat anybody. Yeah. That's what's going to make this game against Duke so well. If they continue to stay hot and continue to keep shooting the way they're shooting, they're basically making teams play their style of basketball.
Right.
It's going to be a little tough against Duke, but I mean, if they could just, stay up about 6 points, as the game goes along, I think Carolina has a good chance to beat anybody. Villanova, it'll be a good matchup.
Well, Carolina's going to have to figure out how to beat the press. That's how teams are going to play them, and they've got to keep guys out of foul trouble. They've got to shoot well. They've got to shoot well from the line when they get chances. So I like
they got
that.
to use their bench too. They haven't been using the bench very much because they really haven't had to.
No,
But I think
and they need to, and it's going to come in handy.
Yeah, they need about a 7-8 man rotation going in to keep those guys fresh and, like you said, keep those guys out of foul trouble if they want to win.
Exactly. So, I think North Carolina ultimately, out of these 4 teams, is going to be the team that wins the national championship. Just the way they're built, just the way they're playing. I think they have the best big guy in this Final Four with Bacon. I think he's playing the best. I really like R.J. Davis as a scorer. I mean, Remy Martin's really good too for Kansas, but I just think Carolina they're coming in just the way they're playing right now. They're
not turning the ball over. They're the only team that's not turning the ball over.
Exactly. So I think it's going to be Carolina at this point. I think they're going to beat. Villanova in the national championship. So that's that. Final Four. We'll get it set. Quick programming note, because Israel, you and I are on Beast of the East, and that usually airs on Mondays. Guess what? We're not gonna play that. We're not gonna be on Monday. We're gonna enjoy this national championship. I'll probably jump in the Ravon Sports app and not really host, but just jump in there and throw some comments here and there. So
yeah, that would be good. I'm gonna enjoy every minute of this one, boy.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't really watched the national championship of basketball since whatever the year. I think the kid from Louisville broke his leg. I think it's the last time I watched the national championship.
Oh yeah, that wasn't good. That wasn't good. That wasn't good at all. So anyway, there it goes. Okay, so spring practice. Georgia spring practice is up and going. Some highlights. We're going to focus on the defensive line here in just a little bit, but I wanted to kind of give you some other things that are happening around spring practice because there's just a lot of storylines with this team. A lot of people involved. What's going to happen with the quarterback room if and when Stetson gets his number 1 reps. What's he going to look like? Is he going to be rusty? What is Eric Gilbert looking like? All that good stuff. 2 guys that have really stood out and looks like they're rounding into form, which is not surprising. I figured it would take them a year of just frustration to get back on the field, because anytime you have catastrophic injuries like that, it usually, physically, yes, they were healed, but mentally they weren't. And they're finally kind of looking more like their old self. And it's Marcus Rosemy, Jack Saint, and Dominic Blaylock. And even Kyrus Jackson. They're looking, they're looking pretty good. Rosemy and Blaylock caught long passes in a recent team period, and they've had some good reps this spring session. So, maybe the wide receiver room isn't in peril like everyone wants to say it is.
Man, let me tell you something. When you got a kid like Blaylock who's having a great bounce back season, before he tore his ACL again. Rosemy Saint, who, once again was balling again, and then he gets hurt. I mean, those guys were coming back. So
yeah.
The addition to Kyrus Jackson coming back as well, I mean, come on. I mean, you got some veterans in that room. The perseverance of those guys who had injuries to stay, make decisions to stay and to keep grinding and keep going, just shows their character. And it just shows you where the state of the program is.
Yeah.
I mean, because those guys could easily transferred, could have easily went on to the NFL and things like that, but they decided to come back. I think that also has a lot to do with the fact that they brought in BMAC as well, a coach that knows Athens, knows the position and things like that. Take over that position after Coach Hankton left. So, I mean, there's a lot of factors within. I mean, those guys will be playing as hard if it wasn't for Coach Kirby and that staff and bringing in BMAC and just showing that you love them. Most coaches, when a kid gets hurt, they just throw them to the wayside. But those guys kept grinding. And look, I mean, they're reaping the benefits right now. I also saw that 80 Mitchell's having a great spring too. So
yeah, I mean he's already kind of broken out, but he's going to really break out this year. I think it's going to be. I think he's going to be more consistent, and I think that's where the breakout's going to be. I think he's going to make plays like he did down the stretch of the season, against Tech and some of the plays he made in the SEC championship and the Orange Bowl and the national championship. Some of those plays he made on some long balls and some big catches for us. Unfortunately, in the SEC championship, it didn't pan out, but he's going to be a big time target for us. And he's going to end up being the leader of that receiver room. So I'm excited about AD Mitchell. I think he's going to take off under BMAC.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think BMAC's not going to let those guys, be mediocre as well. One thing I haven't heard is my man Lat McConkey. I haven't heard much out of him.
Well, he's been kind of well, he finally dressed out today in a regular red jersey. He's been kind of in a black jersey. He's been kind of laying low. I think he's had some issues.
Yeah, I was about to say, because I was wondering where he was. I was like, I'm hearing about all the other guys, but I hadn't heard about my man Lat McConkey. Well, he was a big surprise last year, so he's going to be a big contributor this year as well. Yeah,
he'll be fine. He's going to be him and CJ Smith were also getting reps as a punt returner as well. So, but a pleasant surprise is Denial Morissette, who is an early enrollee freshman, I think from Brookwood, maybe is it Brookwood? He's playing the ball really well in the air, apparently, and he's turned some heads too. So, I mean, it's a group that could potentially be really loaded and also potentially could see some reps for these young guys if they can, if they can get in there. Oscar Delp took some reps at the tight end spot. That position is going to be beat up, so he's going to have some opportunity. I'm excited about Eric Gilbert. He's listed as 245 on the roster, but the reports are saying, and our main source on a lot of this is our guys over at UJSports.com, Anthony Dasher, Roddy Nabolsi, and Dane Young and their crew do a tremendous job of providing information to their subscribers. Even though Rivals let go of Mike Farrell today, which was a huge mistake on their part, the crew at UJ Sports is the best in the business. Is the reason why I'm even still on the Rivals Network, to be honest with you. So that aside, I think when you look at what some of these guys can do, what Eric Gilbert can contribute, I mean, the dude's a big target. I mean, he's a tight end receiver. I mean, he might be, we talked about Kyle Pitts and the comparison with Kyle Pitts and Brock Bowers. I think your Kyle Pitts comparison as far as skill sets go is Eric Gilbert. Now, whether or not Eric Gilbert will make the same impact that Kyle Pitts made is yet to be seen. He's got a long way to go for that. He's got big shoes, if you're going to make that comparison. But I think skill set, if you just look at what they bring to the table, I think that's probably the closest comparison as far as skill sets, because Brock Bowers is a different kind of tight end. He's one that can go and do things like that, but he's also an inline guy that can kick your ass on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Brock Bowers is your true tight end. He's a tight end with wide receiver speed, which is what you want. The fact that Eric Gilbert's even back and playing is a miracle in itself. He had his issue going on, which I'm glad he's back. You never know what a young man's going through. So the fact that he's back, he's going through spring, he's turning some head. He's a big target, like you said, very Megatron-like. I don't know how fast he is right now, but I mean, the fact that, his presence on the field is going to make defenses have to adjust and have to account for. So that opens up, those guys in the middle. That opens up the run game. So the fact that he's even playing, he's out there, I mean, that gives Georgia an advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you hit the nail right on the head with that as well. So, I mean, he's just a huge target, and he just does so many things, and he's such a weapon in the screen game. It's unreal. So, but real quick, let's run through the running backs. I mean, Kenny McIntosh. Have you seen pictures of him?
Yes, him
Holy cow.
And Kendall Milton are looking huge. My boy Dejon Edwards is getting a lot of praise. He's doing well. I'm glad he stuck it out.
Yeah.
So we got a couple guys coming in, but I mean, those three are going to be a three-headed monster.
And
it's going to be just like when you had Gurley and Keith and all those guys. So
Yeah. I mean, that year they had that Chubb sprung onto the scene with Gurley and Sony. And yeah, Gurley, Sony, and Chubb were in the backfield at the same time. Also, I mean, Savon Clark coming in. He's an early enrollee guy. He's getting some big looks as well. He's making a name for himself. He's turning some heads as well. I don't think he's going to start over Kenny McIntosh or Kendall Milton. I mean, I don't think he's going to be much of a rotation guy, but he's somebody that, right now is making quite an impression. But, Kenny McIntosh, he's going to be running back one. And then Milton and Edwards, Dell McGee does a great job rotating those guys. So I've never been worried about the running back position. I'm just more and more impressed with just how it just keeps rolling like that.
Yeah, man. I mean, it just goes to show you that we have the best running back coach in America. And it shows you how much they trust him. Because, I mean, a lot of kids, you look at, Alabama, kind of look at what they did with all those horses they had come through. We haven't had any running backs transfer from Georgia, so we're kind of trending in that area. He does a great job of rotating. He does a great job of finding what they do well. We all know if it was 3rd and 2, Zeus was getting the football.
Yep.
We all know if it's first down, Cook was probably getting it. Cook or McIntosh probably going to get it. So he does a great job of knowing what those guys do well. So it's going to be interesting how he does it this year. Because, McIntosh, that's a huge kid. He's, 6'2"?
Yeah.
He's probably about, 230 right now, 220.
Yeah, just pure freaking ripped.
He's looking like a grown man.
He is. And with I can't wait to see what he does in more of a featured role. I thought we got a little too predictable with Kenny McIntosh. Anytime he came in, it seemed like we were very high percentage of running a screen to him. Mm-hmm. And I thought that got a little bit predictable, but he made it happen. So what can you do? Yeah. And a lot of it is due to the fact that the offensive line was just, okay, let's go get it.
Yeah.
And speaking of that group, I mean, this is a group that's always they probably get mentioned every episode because there's always updates there. Here's the first unit as it stands right now. Broderick Jones at left tackle, Xavier Truss at left guard, Van Pran at center, Devin Willock at right guard, and Warren McClendon at right tackle. Maris Mims is competing with McClendon at right tackle, so they're both getting first-team reps, but McClendon is the first one out as of right now. I don't see that lasting because Maris Mims is just way too talented. I think he's just got to figure some things out. And it seems pretty obvious that Tate Ratledge is still just not ready.
If it's me, I'm saying if Mims can play guard, he's athletic. Obviously, he's athletic enough because he's playing tackle.
Can you imagine him and Broderick on the same side?
Exactly.
Oh,
that's what I thought about. He's going to have to play.
Oh God.
Soon. So I would try him at guard, see if he can do that on either side. Because with him, think about this: you got Jones, you got Mims, Van Pran, McClendon. You got all those guys up front.
Yeah.
With Kenny McIntosh, with Bowers, with Washington.
Uh-huh.
Come on.
Yeah.
Pick your poison.
I know, right?
Throw it.
Yeah, exactly. Let Stetson cook, man. Well, let's move on to the defensive line. Let's focus on them a little bit. Let's give them some love. Trey Scott. Not only is he getting a lot of love in the NFL draft circles right now with his three-headed monster with Trayvon Walker, Devontae Wyatt, and Jordan Davis. He's got his work cut out for him as it comes. Jalen Carter, Zion Logue, Trammell, Waltower. I think I said that right. That's your first three out. I think Zion's playing the nose. Carter and Trammell are playing the fours, the ends, and that odd front look. Bill Norton, Tymon Mitchell, Nazir Stackhouse, Michael Williams, Warren Brinson, Tierion Ingram Dawkins, and Shone Washington are the rest of the group in that order. So Norton, Mitchell, and Stackhouse are your twos. Williams, Brinson, Dawkins are your threes, and Washington is just kind of, he's a freshman. So early enrollee freshman. So he's just going to have to get in where he fits in, I guess. I've heard some huge things, literally and figuratively, about Zion Logue. He's been probably the most improved in this spring session. I mean, that's the name that anytime you talk about Georgia spring practice, that is the name that you hear, Zion Logue, from right up here in my neck of the woods. I had him at Lebanon, great kid. Was a bottom heavy basketball player his freshman and sophomore year. Like that was his mentality. Like he was going to go play college basketball. He wasn't even like worried about football whatsoever. And then a flip switched, and all of a sudden, dude just like turned into a beast. And I think he just started going to camps.
Yeah,
he started going to camps his junior year.
That's all it takes. You get a little bit of notoriety. You start lifting a little bit, and you start to realize that, hey, I'm pretty good at football. I should probably try a little bit harder.
And that he did. I mean, he really, like, he was one of those I was hoping that switch would flip, because I mean, he was a project. He was a project. I mean, the only thing he really had is size, and you couldn't really move him around. But like, he's just somebody that didn't realize what he had. I mean, I don't think he was soft. I just don't think he realized what he had. And talking to him, that kind of came out when, because I'd give him rides home and pick him up for practice every once in a while during the summertime when he needed it during my 2 years there. And he, we'd have talks, and I'd, ask him what his goals are, and, just talking to him. And, then I left to come to my current gig, and then he blew up. So
yeah,
I'm taking full credit right here. 100%. No, I'm just kidding. No, the staff over there at Lebanon right now is tremendous. They're doing a great job. They took a team that was 1-9, and they went 9-1 this year. In just, I guess it was 5 short years later. Now,
hey man, it's hard work and dedication right there now.
That's
but I can't wait to see what Coach Scott has. I can't wait to see the rotation, because we rotated. I mean, 6, 7 defensive linemen last year.
Uh-huh.
I still remember seeing Kirby Smart saying we need fresh guys. In the next championship game. When Davis and White and all those guys was out there. So I'm interested to see who the guy's going to be, though. We all know about Jordan Davis, but Wyatt came on late, who was the sleeper guy. We all knew about Jordan Davis, but then Wyatt comes on, you're like, dang, who's that guy? So I'm interested to see who's going to take over the defensive line to be like, hey, we probably should block this guy.
It's going to be Jalen Carter. I mean, Jalen Carter is that dude. I mean, he is a minute, and it's funny to say because Jalen Carter's huge in his own right, but he's a miniature version of Jordan Davis, which just tells you how much of a behemoth Jordan Davis is. But Jalen Carter is going to absolutely rake, and it's going to be unfair. Him and Zion are just going to be unfair. Now, I'm kind of hoping we have – I want to see kind of who becomes our next Trevon Walker. I want to see if we have a guy like that on the defensive line. Like Tyrion – I think – am I saying this right? Tyrion Ingram Dawkins? I have no idea if I'm saying that right. You think it could be him, Michael Williams maybe, some guys that can be sleeper guys that – kind of come out of nowhere as that more athletic defensive end. Definitely not going to be Mitchell. Mitchell's going to be more of a Zion Logue type. Mitchell's from also this neck of the woods up here at Franklin Road Academy. But, who stands out to you as kind of that Trevon Walker guy that can just do a lot of different things?
That's a tough one.
I mean, Walker's a freak. Walker's an athletic freak. He runs a 4.7.
About him being the first pick now. It was homeboy from Michigan, but I guess after watching us pretty much push him down.
After watching Sawyer just take his soul. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, never mind. I got to watch him a little bit more. I'm interested to see. We ended up getting Bear Alexander, right? I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we did. I
We
think
got him, so I'm interested to see what
he'll
he
be in
does
the
when he
rotation.
gets there too.
He'll be in the rotation. That dude's a freaking monster.
But it's hard to, put a finger on just one guy to take over that spot. I mean, you got a guy who can drop back in coverage. You got a guy who can stand up. We got Stark. I don't know. He's more of a linebacker, but can he put his hand in the dirt?
Yeah.
I think that's who I'm looking forward to seeing. Will they put him down?
Yeah.
Kind of like they do Nolan, and kind of see what he can do, off that edge, things like that. So that's tough because, Walker was the man. He could play the outside linebacker. He could put his hand in the dirt. He could cover flat. That kid is just so versatile. It just makes you as a defensive guy just be like, all right, just go out there and play football.
Yeah.
And as an offensive guy, you're like, shit, there he is. There's number 44.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And like that Florida game where he just drops back and just picks that ball off. You're like, what the?
Yeah. And he was a 3-point stance.
Oh, you're like,
3-point stance and drops out.
that was like that. That's the clip that keeps getting shown over and over and over in the draft process. So, man, I don't know.
Hey, homeboy from Michigan couldn't do that because he was on the ground.
No, he was getting pancaked by Sawyer. Didn't make a single sack against Georgia. Didn't even pressure Stetson Bennett in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan was so outclassed in that game. It was unreal. But looking at the outside linebackers, or just looking at the linebackers in particular, Nolan Smith, Robert Beal are, as this moment, your number one and number two. But I think Xavier Sorey, once the light bulb comes on for him, I think he'll be a big factor in that. Jason Dumas Johnson, I think he's just got to get some reps under it. These guys that are the 2s and 3s, they've just got to get more reps. They're just young. Like Jalen Walker, Marlon Dean, Xavier Sorey, some of the guys we got coming in as freshmen in the summertime. Like those guys they're just young. They just don't have much experience, so they're just going to have to get reps and reps and reps. Nolan Smith has got to say, Chaz Chambliss. Yeah, Chaz Chambliss. He's an inside backer, I think.
He goes in and, knocks the hell out of a kid and gets a dang penalty. What is that? You just take the glory from a kid.
That's
He's waiting for his chance to come in, and he makes a dang good tackle.
That's a bunch of bullshit,
He's out of the game.
MJ Sherman, somebody that I like at that linebacker position too. Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker, those are some big shoes to fill. So we'll see what happens there.
Man.
We'll see what happens there. We'll try to get some more information on that. On those,
I want to know if we're going to have a Leonard Floyd, Lorenzo Carter.
That's Nolan Smith.
Devin Bellamy. That type body coming off the edge. You know what I mean? With those slender guys like Jarvis Jones, a slender guy that can play backer, come down off the edge, and things like that. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing. Do we have a guy like that?
That's Beal and Nolan.
That's going to be fun to watch.
Sorry's that way too, I think. Yeah. I can't wait. I cannot
I like
wait.
those type of guys, especially that 3-4 look that we do. Especially when they're in the flats when they come down. Just the way they disguise everything. It's great. So I'm looking forward to seeing those edge guys. We already know the Coach Scott on the inside is going to be great, but who are going to be those edge guys at the edge, get to the quarterback, things like that.
Yeah, and that's the new guy, Uribe something. I'll get it right. Springtime for us too, right? So
we got plenty of time to get these names right.
Plenty.
Number 45. That's him.
Yeah.
In case I mess up his name, I just say his number.
Yeah. 45. Just call him 4-5. Hey man, 43, man, he's good. So.
Yep, that's it.
Man, 4-5. You gotta say it all in one syllable. 4-5, good, man.
Sound like Boomhauer. From King of the Hill.
Hell yeah. Hell, can I get a hell yeah? Oh, Stone Cold.
The kids will never know how great wrestling was back then, just from watching Stone Cold. They'll never know.
No, they'll never appreciate it either. It's a shame.
This new style of wrestling is terrible.
Yeah, it's just a shame. It's a shame. So that's football in a nutshell. The guard position is going to be really interesting, and we'll have more developments as we get to you next week. So, baseball, we talked about it Monday. Just a bad outing with the pitching staff against Kentucky. Just errors all over the place.
I was looking for that. That's what I'm sitting here doing. I'm trying to find that because I had something I want to talk about.
Let's do it.
That really kind of upset me that they played so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we were just talking about how good y'all were, and then y'all come out here and hoop yourself because it's cold outside.
Yeah, it just seemed like they played. It just seemed like that grand slam. They were just like, well, okay, let's get this one over with.
Yeah, like it was like there was no fight. I think that's the part that pissed me off the most. There was like no fight.
Yeah, it's just like no guts. The bullpen just came in and they were just throwing. They weren't pitching. They were just throwing, hoping to put the ball in play and get out of here. And
no.
Kentucky
that's not
saw
Georgia baseball.
No, it's not.
It sucks that they reverted back to what it used to be for a moment.
Yeah, but they bounced back against Georgia Southern, and
they were playing just a minute ago. That's what I was trying to find.
They're playing Florida.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, let me find. I knew I was going to talk about something.
They got a 3-game set. Yeah, they got a 3-game set against Florida. Is that on SEC Plus?
Might be. I think that's where I was watching it at. Dang it, I can't find it. Anyway, they haven't been hitting the ball very well.
No, they haven't.
As of late either.
No, they're just kind of.
I think they're pressing. That's what it looks like. I think they're pressing a little bit. I think they were doing so well in the beginning. But, baseball. I mean, sometimes the baseball guys love you, and majority of the time they hate you. So, especially when you start pressing, especially in baseball, I mean, you start swinging at pitches you don't normally swing at. They were not doing a good job of playing small ball, getting on base, putting runners over, stealing, things like that.
Yeah.
It actually help you win, baseball games.
And in college, so much, such an underrated aspect of college baseball is working the count.
Exactly.
Working pitchers deep into counts, and that, like Tennessee, when you watch them play, when they're at the plate, they have an approach, and their approach is, I want to get my pitch, and I want to knock the hell out of it. They're not chasing. They're disciplined. They're forcing you to get into your bullpen sooner than you want to, and that's where they get you. And teams like that, you've got to have solid pitching. I mean, if you don't, they're gonna expose the hell out of you, and that's just the way they're built. And so, if you can, as a pitcher, stay ahead in the count, you're gonna be just fine. And you've got to build that stamina up too. I mean, there's got to be, pun intended, I guess, because we are the Dogs, but there's got to be that at least that one alpha dog pitcher that will just say, "F you, Coach Strickland. I'm going 7, and I'm going to shut these bastards down." And you've got to have that mentality. And right now, I don't really see anybody like that. And I thought Jonathan Cannon was that guy. He lasted 2/3 of an inning on Sunday.
They folded under pressure, man. They folded because it's cold outside.
But Garrett Brown's going tonight, or he's going right now.
Yeah. Last I saw, we were up 4-2. Yeah, we're still at 4-2.
Good. See if I can find
but
it.
At the same time, like you said, I mean, we gotta get back to like we were at the beginning of the season. Obviously the talent, isn't as great. It gets better, as the season goes along. But at the same time, I mean, Georgia baseball is elite now. So we got to play at an elite level. And
that's right.
This weekend was not an elite level. And right now, as it's looking, I think we're looking a lot more like Georgia baseball that we're used to seeing right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how we finish everything out, especially this series. I think we win this series. I think it'll be about a good bounce back, from last week.
Yeah, it will. I mean, it has to be. I mean, there's got no choice. I mean, we've got to bounce back. We've got to hold. We got to be able to hold this lead first of all, and we've got to be able to. I mean, we got to be able to do some things. I mean, that's just the way. That's just the way that it is. And if we can't, it's gonna be. It's gonna be brutal.
People forget about small ball. I mean, bunting, hit and run. When you're struggling, the team is struggling hitting the ball, producing runs, play small ball. That's the easiest way to get your guys back into it. Hit and run. I mean, it's the easy way to, all right, guy gets a hit. All right, that's confidence. Makes it bad. Mindset changes. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. And here's an update. It is, we're in the bottom of the 7th. It is now 4-4. So it's now tied. It is now tied. Yeah.
That escalated quickly.
It did. And Manu Ginobili is going to be in the Hall of Fame, by the way, just so you know. Him and Bob Huggins are getting in the Basketball Hall of Fame. So, real quick, while we're, as I'm watching this, I'll give you kind of live updates as anything cool happens. But what about this Bruce Arians thing to get completely away from Georgia football or Georgia sports?
I think it's awesome. The way that it's happening, the way that everything's going about, the fact that Brady came back. I think this decision had a lot to do with that. I think Brady's decision to come back had a lot to do with what's going on right now.
Yeah. And I hope some stuff don't come out later of like some manipulation of like Brady forced this hand and forced Arians out. I just hope that, you just hope that Arians, is a guy that's just looking out for his people and loyal to his people. And, because Todd Bowles did not get a fair shake in New York because A, that's a lousy organization. And B, I don't think he had enough time. He's an elite coach, and he just, honestly, I just don't think he was ready. I think he learned a lot of hard lessons of like how to manage an organization as the head coach. And I think he learned a lot because, I mean, New York was always under his reign. New York was tough on defense. Like you couldn't, but they just had no offense. And a lot of that was just Mike Tannenbaum not being able to fill the roster. But then again, it's just some inadequacies on the offensive staff, and
yeah, I think like right now with everything going on, I think it's set up for him to succeed.
It is.
Your offensive coordinator didn't leave, so that relationship between him and Brady's already established right now.
Yeah, and Leftwich has got the keys now.
Yep, and the fact that Bruce Arians is moving upstairs, I mean, just says a lot. It said to me, like you said, I hope nothing comes out about it, but to me it says that Bruce Arians, did this out. It came from the heart. The fact that Coach Bowles is the new head football coach says a lot of what that organization thought about him and the things he's done within that organization. So,
yeah,
I mean, because like I said, Zach Brady was in the front row of the press conference today when the Arians was there. So, I mean, that says a lot. That says that, all right, we're in this together. Let's go. Let's roll. Let's play.
Yeah, let's do this thing. And I think Arians, just the way he coaches, he gets burnt out pretty quick because he's kind of an all in, full octane guy.
Yeah, he ain't the youngest guy either.
No, he's not the youngest.
You're rocking Kango hats on the sideline. I mean, that says a lot about you.
Yeah, that was a terrible strikeout, by the way. When you look at the way he coaches, he lives the no risk it, no biscuit, and he's not a young cat. Mm-hmm. So when you look at it, it's just like, man, it's good. It's good that he's getting out, but he's going to still be in it because he's going to be there for Bowles to lean on, and he's going to be there for advice, and he's going to be there helping with personnel. And it's probably good that he steps away from the team because I just think it's just time. It's just time.
I think the whole Antonio Brown thing last year was the calling card. It was like, you know what? I think I'm getting too old for this, and I'm going to go sit on the beach and
He's
have
taking
a cigar
the
drink
Parcells
tequila.
Miami Dolphins role.
and have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. So I love it. I'm happy for Todd Bowles. I think he deserves it. I thought he deserved one of these jobs this cycle, but he ended up he's patient. And, all the stuff that you hear about Bieniemy, maybe Reed is doing something similar. Maybe Reed is like, listen, I'm going to retire in a couple of years. Just hang tight. You're going to take over the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Like, it would not shock me if Andy Reid did something similar.
I don't think he even applied for any of the jobs this go around. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what's kind of happening. I like, their older coaches throwing their guys the alley and being like, hey, man, you've been loyal to me. It's been a great ride. Here are the keys. This is all you now. I'm going to step out of the way, just kind of let you be great.
Yeah.
But, we shall see. We shall
Ooh, a
see.
2-out walk. Well, it's a 2-out walk right now.
Before we get
We're
on
on first. Yes.
The first 2 outs were terrible. Those swings were awful.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we went down looking.
Guy. Yeah, I'm a baseball guy, and I'm just sitting here watching. I'm just like, what in the world are we doing? We're swinging at curveballs that are 2 inches off the plate.
No approach whatsoever. Well, this is part of the we're tightening up. That's what it is.
It's like, let me swing at this. No.
Yeah.
You got to at least have a plan every time you go to the plate. It's like they're not studying the pitcher either. Like, his breaking ball's pretty good. His changeup and curveball is pretty good. So if I'm in the batter's box, I'm looking at him. This guy's got his head down. He's not taking practice cuts. That's a problem.
Yeah.
I just got mad all over you.
The guy's not even looking. He's just kind of chilling.
You know what I mean? So
look at him. He's just chilling. What's he doing? I like the way the stadium looks.
They've done a really good job renovating.
Those field box seats look pretty good. So, but Israel, I know your allergies are kicking your butt as they are mine. So we're gonna.
Thanks a lot for y'all bringing that weather down here.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Take it back.
Anytime. Well, at least it didn't get cold. It was cold. It was like in the 40s all day today.
No, we got up to 75 today.
We got winter's last. God, popped it up. You got to be kidding me. Yeah. What a terrible swing. Popped it freaking up. Okay, so Arians is getting in the Ring of Honor. That's good. So we are the Believe in Georgia Dawgs podcast on the Believe Network, Brinks TV. Follow us, find us on social media. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on the Twitter live feeds and stuff like that. Also, check us out on the audio side, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. You can find us and listen to us. If you got that long road trip over the weekend, just pop us on and let's roll. So we're gonna as we cruise through the month of April, we're gonna try to give you a little bit more NFL draft content because Georgia's going to be well represented. So why not give you some more draft talk? We'll also Masters talk as well. We'll talk a little Masters. We'll talk some baseball, opening day, Major League. We'll kind of, we're going to be just an all around sports show for the rest of this period up until it's time to start doing opponent previews and fall camp stuff. And as we approach the season, we're going to talk all kind of stuff. Obviously Georgia sports that are happening. Any Georgia headlines will take precedent, but we will address some other things as well. We will get off topic just a little bit, which makes it a little bit more fun. And of course we'll do that on Beast of the East too, probably more. So there you go. There you have it. So Israel, we hope you have a great weekend. Try to take it easy on the kids on the basketball court. Wait, never mind. Don't do that.
It's too late. I won my last battle today. We start spring break next week, so
okay.
I won my last battle today.
Any plans?
No, I'm going to play golf. Turkey season opens up this weekend. So.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna go kill some turkeys.
I'm going to go shoot me a thunder chicken.
There you go. My father-in-law is looking to buy a hunting camp somewhere here in Tennessee. So if that happens, we might have to bring you up north.
I'm coming.
Yeah, we might have to bring you up north, shoot some deer and some turkey. Some of the thunder chickens. You have to show me how to shoot turkeys. Finally get to hunt. So anyway, Israel, we hope you have a great weekend. We thank you for listening. Subscribe, comment, give us some feedback. Let us know how we're doing. Like I said, we are the Believe in Georgia Dawgs podcast on the Believe Network and Brinks TV. So long and see you later. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
This is Believe in Georgia Dawgs podcast on the Believe Podcast Network.